Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we dissect the financial big leagues, and today we are diving deep into Krystal Biotech's latest annual report. And let me tell you, this one has some juicy details about their groundbreaking gene therapy and how it is translating into serious cash flow. So buckle up because we're going to decode what these numbers really mean for Krystal Biotech and the future of genetic medicine. And hey, before we jump in, if you love getting these straight talking breakdowns of complex financial documents, make sure you are subscribed. We also have a fantastic community over on Discord, linked in the description below, where we chat about these things in real time. We are looking at Krystal Biotech's annual report for the fiscal year ended the 31st of December 2025. This is essentially their yearly checkup, showing how they have performed over the past year and setting the stage for what is next. Now, right off the bat, they're telling us that a lot of what they'll be discussing involves predictions about the future. They are talking about plans for their main product, Vyjuvek, in different countries, upcoming clinical trials, and how they expect their business to grow. This is typical for companies, but it also means we need to keep in mind that things might not always go exactly as planned. Okay, and here is a super important part. They are giving us a heads up on the biggest risks they face. The first big one is that they are heavily relying on the success of Vyjuvek. That means if Vyjuvek does not do well in the market, it could really hurt the company. They also point out stiff competition in the biotech world, the possibility of product liability lawsuits, which could cost them a lot of money, and the constant challenge of getting and keeping patent protection for their discoveries. Also, they are reminding us that cybersecurity incidents, like data breaches, could seriously harm their reputation and operations. So, what is Krystal Biotech all about? They are a biotechnology company that is all about genetic medicine. They use a special technology based on a modified herpes simplex virus to deliver genes that can treat diseases. Their star product, Vyjuvek, is now approved in the United States, the European Union, and Japan for a rare skin disease called dystrophic epidermolysis bullosa, or DEB. They launched it in the US in 2023 and started rolling it out in Europe and Japan recently. Let's get into Vyjuvek itself. DEB is a really tough disease, sometimes called the butterfly children disease, because the skin is super fragile. Before Vyjuvek, treatments were mostly about managing symptoms, not fixing the root cause. Vyjuvek is a gene therapy that delivers the gene needed to make a crucial protein. It is applied directly to wounds, which is a big deal because it means it can be used at home or in a doctor's office, making it much easier for patients compared to more invasive treatments. And about those launches, they mentioned Vyjuvek hit the US market in 2023, and by August 2025 they launched in Germany, followed by France and Japan in October 2025. They are actively discussing pricing and reimbursement in these key markets, which is crucial for how much money they actually make from sales. They've already seen some impressive revenue from Vyjuvek, reaching $730.3 million since its launch. It's worth noting Vyjuvek got FDA approval back in 2023, and then European and Japanese approvals in 2025. The approvals came with some important designations like orphan drug designation, which basically means it is for rare diseases and gets some special treatment and incentives. Now let's talk about how they actually make this stuff. Krystal Biotech has invested heavily in their own manufacturing facilities, called Ankyras and Astra. This is a big advantage because it gives them more control over quality and supply. They even passed inspections from the FDA, the European Medicines Agency, and Japanese regulators, which is a huge hurdle cleared. The gene therapy field is super crowded, and Krystal Biotech faces competition from other companies working on similar treatments for DEB and other diseases. They specifically mention companies like Abeona Therapeutics, Castle Creek Biosciences, and Bridge Biopharma. It is a tough landscape, but having Vyjuvek as the first corrective therapy approved for DEB gives them a significant edge. Protecting their inventions is key in this industry. Krystal Biotech relies heavily on patents to keep their technology and products exclusive. They have a portfolio of patents covering their technology platform, Vyjuvek, and their various product candidates. These patents generally last for 20 years, but can sometimes be extended, which is vital in the long game of drug development. Alright, now for the part everyone wants to see, the numbers. Let's take a look at their financial performance. For the year ended the 31st of December 2025, product revenue was $389.1 million. This is a significant jump from $290.5 million in 2024, and a massive increase from just $50.7 million in 2023. This growth is directly tied to the commercial success of Vyjuvek. They are seeing strong sales and the numbers show it. profit. In 2023, they actually had an operating loss, and that is totally normal for a biotech company in the development phase. But look at this incredible turnaround. In 2024, they had an operating income of $65.7 million, and in 2025, that soared to $161.3 million. This shows they are not just developing products, they are now successfully selling them and becoming profitable. And when we look at the bottom line, net income. For 2025, they reported a net income of $204.8 million. That is a huge leap from $89.2 million in 2024 and $10.9 million in 2023. This clearly indicates that their strategy of bringing Vyjuvek to market is paying off handsomely, and they are now a profitable company. Now, cost of goods sold also increased, which makes sense as they are selling more Vyjuvek. For 2025, it was $23 million compared to $20.1 million the previous year. While the cost is going up, it is not growing as fast as their revenue, which is a good sign for their profit margins. Research and development expenses are still a big part of their spending, which is expected since they are a biotech company with a pipeline of other potential treatments. For 2025, R&D was $58 million, a slight increase from $53.6 million in 2024. This shows they are continuing to invest in future growth. They are spending money on candidates like KB111, KB707, and others. Selling, general and administrative expenses, or SG&A, has also seen a significant increase, especially in 2025, jumping to $146.7 million from $113.6 million. This jump is largely due to increased payroll costs, professional services, and marketing efforts to support the global rollout of Vyjuvek. This is a necessary expense as they scale up their commercial operations. When we put all operating expenses together, we see a significant increase from $160.3 million in 2023 to $224.8 million in 2024, and then a slight increase to $227.8 million in 2025. While expenses have gone up, their revenue growth has far outpaced it, leading to that strong operational income. Interestingly, in 2023, they had a $100 million gain here from selling a priority review voucher they received. This was a nice one, time boost. Their interest and other income net is also quite substantial, reaching $28.2 million in 2025. This comes from their cash reserves earning interest, showing they are managing their money wisely. And what is fascinating is for 2025, they reported an income tax benefit of $15.4 million, a big change from the tax expenses in 2023 and 2024. This is partly because they determined it was more likely than not they would realize the benefits from certain deferred tax assets, meaning they can use those tax credits to reduce their tax burden. Looking at liquidity, as of the 31st of December 2025, Krystal Biotech had a very healthy $827.8 million in cash equivalents and short-term investments. This is a strong position, providing them with ample runway to fund their operations and continue their research and development. Now, let's check the cash flow for 2025. They generated $200.9 million in cash from operations. This is a huge improvement from the cash burn in 2023, showing they've effectively turned profitable operations into positive cash flow. Investing activities show they are actively managing their investments, purchasing and maturing securities, which is typical for a company holding significant cash reserves. And in financing, we see proceeds from stock exercises, which is common as employees exercise their stock options. The big numbers in 2023 were from stock sales, showing they raised significant capital earlier in their journey. Inventory levels have significantly increased, reaching $40.5 million in 2025 compared to $26.5 million in 2024 and $3.1 million in 2023. This is directly linked to the commercialization of Vyjuvek, meaning they are producing more product in anticipation of strong sales. Accounts receivable also grew substantially, landing at $127.4 million in 2025, indicating more sales are being made on credit. The fact that a significant portion of this is from a single customer highlights a point of concentration, a risk they do mention in their disclosures about customer concentration. They are heavily reliant on a few key buyers for their revenue. Their lease liabilities are manageable, reflecting their ongoing commitment to their research and manufacturing facilities. Stock-based compensation is a significant expense, reflecting their use of equity to attract and retain talent. For 2025, it is $54.5 million. This is a common practice in the biotech industry to incentivize employees with stock options and awards. A notable item is their unrecognized tax benefits, which grew from $4.2 million in 2024 to $10 million in 2025. This suggests they are taking certain tax positions that might be challenged by tax authorities, but they believe they are supportable. This is a complex area that requires careful judgment. Okay, let's look at the overall picture. Their operating income has transformed from a massive loss in 2023 to significant profits in 2024 and 2025. This is the core story here. A company that was investing heavily in R&D has now successfully commercialized a product, leading to strong revenue growth and profitability. The net income numbers really hammer this home. From a modest $10.9 million profit in 2023, they've surged to over $204 million in net income for 2025. This is a remarkable financial turnaround. Their total assets have also grown significantly, reaching $1.3 billion in 2025. This reflects their increased cash, investments, and the value of their property and equipment, including their manufacturing facilities. Liabilities are relatively low and manageable, especially when compared to their assets. This indicates a healthy financial structure. Now, looking at the signatures and approvals, it is clear that the leadership team, including Krish S. Krishnan and Catherine A. Romano, are signing off on these numbers. They are the ones certifying that this report is accurate to the best of their knowledge. So, what is my take on Krystal Biotech? They've pulled off something pretty remarkable. They have successfully transitioned from a development stage company to a commercial stage one, with Vyjuvek driving impressive revenue and profit growth. Their investment in their own manufacturing is a major strength, giving them control and potentially better margins. The risks they highlight, like competition and reliance on a few key customers, are real, but their financial performance suggests they are navigating them effectively for now. Their future looks bright as they continue to expand Vyjuvek's reach and develop their pipeline. Alright, that is our breakdown of Krystal Biotech's latest filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching, see you next time.